What's up, YouTube? So welcome back to another tutorial here. We're gonna go ahead and get into conditional statements, and that basically is what makes our program an AI. Like we want to be able to tell our program to do things based on the input it receives, right? So it should be able to decide like what comes next based on whatever the user enters. So the first thing we're going to need to do for this is get some user input, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll print out to the console. Let's say, let's work with numbers at this point. So we'll tell them to enter a double. Now we didn't talk about this too much, but what a double is basically like a decimal number, right? Like 5.52 or 2.67, anything like that. Now if you do an int, that actually rounds the double, so it's not going to keep it as that decimal value. To keep the decimal value, you need to use like float, double, and we won't get into the differences of that just yet, but just keep in mind we need to use a double for this decimal value that we're going to ask for. Alright, so we're going to go down here. Actually, I don't need to put a space here since it is an inline. Now we need to read in a value from our console. So for that, if you remember, it's scanner, right? Input equals new scanner, and the type is going to be system.in because we are reading from the console. So once we get that value, we want to store it in our double variable, which we don't have yet, but we can create one. Double user input equals input dot next double. All right. So now we're going to have the value that the user enters in our user input variable. And now we want user conditional statements to do something based on that input. So let's say if user input is less than 0, actually let's do less than 5, then we want to do something. Okay, so we want to go ahead and print out system.out.println your input was less than 5. Easy as that. Right, so if I run this, it'll be pretty simple. So you'll see it in the console here, enter a double. Okay, let's do 1.2. Alright, so it prints your input was less than 5. Alright, let's run it again. And let's put 6. Nothing, because I'm not really doing anything if it doesn't go in this loop. Now, another statement that comes in after if. So if this condition is not met, we want to go ahead and do else. So if that condition is not met for any reason, we go into the next this else statement here, where we're going to do system.out.println your input is not less than 5. Easy enough. So 6, there you go. Alright, it's pretty simple how conditional statements work, but it can get a bit more complicated than that. For example, if I have multiple conditions, right? Now, right now we're only considering if-else statements. There are better ways to do this, like switch statements, switch and case statements, but we're going to stick with if and if-else for now. So let's say if user input is less than 5, want to print your input was less than 5. Else if, so that means this is not the last, this is not the final statement here. So we're going to do else if user input is greater than 5 and user input is less than 7. So between 5 and 7, which means 6, we want to do something. You can't use and here to basically put two statements together. You want to do like that. Alright, we're going to do system.out.println. I don't know, but we'll just print Bob here. Okay, let's do 6. Bob. See, easy as that. Now, and then you can also add your final statement here. So if it doesn't meet any of those requirements, geez, okay, else system.out.println boom shaka. All right. Ooh, feeling tired today. Okay, here we go. So enter a double. So okay, 9. Boom shaka. There you go. All right. So that's pretty much how the if-else statement works. Now it's really simple, and keep in mind you can do a lot with this based on the user input. We're not going to do an actual program right now, but I think this is enough. It's a pretty quick tutorial on how if-else works. And I think I might be able to fit case statements in here too, but I won't do that. We'll leave that for another tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I will catch you guys later.